Did you know that the harder you try to win a woman back, the faster she'll actually run away? Most guys think that if they just try a little harder, they can fix everything, but they're actually just digging their own graves. Welcome back to Female Mind Decode. Hit that subscribe button if you're new here so you can finally understand what's really going on in her head. And hey, if you're enjoying this so far, smash that like button, it really helps the channel out. Let's be totally honest for a second. When a woman starts losing interest, most men panic and do every single thing wrong. They blow up her phone, apologize for things they didn't even do, buy random gifts, and try to explain themselves over and over again. But in reality, all those things just push her further and further away. You have to realize that losing her interest isn't always because you messed up or did something bad. Sometimes it's just about the vibe you're putting out there. It's about how she sees your confidence or how the dynamic between you two has changed. But here's the crazy part that almost no one tells you. A woman actually can come back and want you even more than before, but only if you follow the hidden rules of attraction. Most guys have absolutely no clue what these rules are. They think that showing how much they care or chasing after her will magically make her love them again. It just doesn't work that way. Attraction isn't built on how much effort you put in. It's built on your presence, your confidence, and your emotional influence. I need you to understand one very important thing right now. Women don't fall back in love with a man because he begs or cries for another chance. That's just not how our brains work. We fall back in love when we feel the pull of a man who is stable, magnetic, and completely himself without any apologies. When you stop trying to force her to feel something and start managing your own energy instead, that's when everything shifts. That's when she starts to notice all those great parts of you that she completely overlooked before. Now this is where it gets really interesting. Today, I'm going to talk to you like a woman who knows exactly what we think when our interest starts to fade, and more importantly, what makes that spark come back to life. I'm going to show you what she's actually feeling when you change your approach, and how you can naturally rebuild that attraction without using any weird mind games. This isn't about tricks or cheap tactics. We're talking about real female psychology and how attraction works in the real world. Make sure you hit subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. By the time we finish this video, you'll understand exactly why she drifted away, what you need to do internally to change the vibe, and how to pull her back in without even trying. You'll see that your power isn't in chasing her, but in becoming the man she would be terrified to lose. 1. Stop chasing her. Start controlling your energy. Men often make this exact mistake after a woman loses interest. They get scared. They start texting nonstop, trying to fix the problem and explaining themselves until they're blue in the face. They hope that if they just remind her why she liked them in the first place, she'll change her mind. But here is the truth. Chasing her only proves to her that your value is tied to her attention. And let me tell you, nothing kills attraction faster than being needy. But here's the really wild part about how we're wired. Women notice your energy before you even say a word. If she felt your confidence slipping or saw that you were desperate for her to like you, her interest is going to fade. It's not that she's trying to punish you. It's just how she reacts to your emotional state. Attraction is emotional, not logical. Women instinctively respond to a man who is independent, stable, and has a strong presence. I want you to imagine this for a moment. I remember a guy I was kind of interested in. As soon as I started to cool off a bit, he started sending me multiple texts every day. He apologized for tiny things, asked if he'd done something wrong, and constantly tried to get me to reply. Every single message he sent screamed, "I need you to care about me." Honestly, it just made me want to pull away even further. His effort was obvious, but it didn't make me like him more. It just reminded me that he relied on me for his happiness. Now contrast that with a man who noticed my distance, took a step back, and focused on his own life. He didn't call, he didn't over-explain, and he didn't try to convince me to come back. But when we did cross paths, he was calm, confident, and fully present. He wasn't needy. He had his own world going on. Wait until you hear how everything changed the moment he stopped trying so hard. Suddenly, I was curious. I wanted to know why he seemed so unbothered that I wasn't there. That small shift in his energy created a spark of attraction without him saying a single word to try and convince me. If you're enjoying this so far, smash that like button. Here's the key. Stop chasing her and start controlling your own energy. When you control your focus, confidence, and independence, she begins to reassess her feelings. She notices you differently because your energy is no longer begging for attention. Attraction isn't created through effort, it's created through presence. 2. Why she lost interest, and it's not what you think. Let's clear something up right now. When a woman loses interest, it's almost never about a single mistake. It's not about a small argument, a forgotten text, or even a lack of romance. It's about the overall energy and dynamic you've been sending her over time. Women pick up on subtle cues that most men don't even realize they are giving. Interest fades when a woman senses dependency, overeagerness, or a lack of self-confidence. But here's the crazy part. If she feels like she has to validate you, or that your happiness hinges on her attention, her brain starts dialing down attraction. She unconsciously starts to see you less as a challenge and more as someone who is available on demand. That right there kills desire faster than anything else. Another big reason is predictability and a lack of emotional contrast. Women are drawn to men who make them feel something: curiosity, excitement, tension, or a spark of intrigue. If every interaction is the same, or if she knows exactly how you're going to respond every time, her brain stops engaging. Attraction thrives on unpredictability, subtle challenge, and emotional energy. Once that's gone, her interest naturally diminishes. Hit subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. Now this is where it gets interesting. Sometimes it's not even about you personally. Life stress, emotional baggage, or shifting priorities can make her pull back. But how you respond to your energy in those moments determines whether she reconnects or drifts further away. A man who understands this, who can adjust his presence without chasing, can reignite her curiosity. And here's the part most men overlook. Women often still notice value even after pulling away. They may appear indifferent, but their subconscious is always evaluating whether you're a man worth missing. Your actions, confidence, and independence during this time are more influential than anything you say. 3. The subtle pull and how women reassess attraction. Here's something most men completely miss. When a woman loses interest, she doesn't stop noticing you entirely. She just stops feeling pulled toward you until something shifts. Women reassess attraction constantly, and it's never purely logical. It's about energy, presence, and emotional impact. When a man steps back and stops chasing, a woman begins to unconsciously reevaluate him. She notices how he carries himself. Have you ever wondered why she suddenly seems interested again the moment you stop trying? It's all about curiosity and emotional contrast. When a woman pulls back, she's actually watching your behavior like a hawk. She's looking for patterns. Are you acting the same as before, or are you suddenly calmer and more magnetic? That shift creates a tension she can't ignore. It makes her see things in you that she missed before. But remember, timing is everything. Reattraction isn't a magic trick that happens in a day. Women process feelings slowly. Their desire grows when they see you being independent and stable over time. If you try to fix things with long texts or explanations, you'll kill that natural process. The attraction just dies out. If you're enjoying this so far, smash that like button and let me know your thoughts. The big takeaway is simple. You can't force a woman to be interested, but you can influence it. It has to happen on its own. You become magnetic by staying emotionally steady and confident. These are the qualities that pull her back without you ever having to chase her. But here's the crazy part. You actually have to become a man she simply cannot ignore. Hit subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. 4. Rebuilding value. Becoming the man she can't ignore. Let's be real. If she's lost interest, you can't just hope she changes her mind. You have to become a man worth noticing, someone whose presence naturally draws her in without force. I'm not talking about pretending to be someone you aren't, buying her attention, or trying to impress her with over-the-top gestures. It means reinforcing your value and presence in subtle, undeniable ways. First, women are drawn to confidence and stability. That means showing her through your energy and actions that your world doesn't revolve around her. You have goals, passions, and a life that fulfills you. When she sees that you're thriving without needing her validation, it shifts her perception. She starts to feel that spark she lost because she's observing a man who is independent and emotionally whole. Second, mystery and unpredictability matter more than most men realize. Being predictable, over-available, or too easy to read diminishes attraction. Women are curious about men who maintain boundaries, who have layers to them, and who don't reveal everything at once. You don't have to play games. Just let her discover you gradually. The small moments of intrigue will pull her in subtly, reigniting interest without manipulation. Third, social proof and how you interact with others make a huge difference. Women notice how you treat other people, how you're respected, and how your energy influences those around you. A man who commands respect naturally and effortlessly is far more attractive than one who seeks validation or approval from anyone, including her. Now this is where it gets interesting. Another critical point, your presence must be magnetic without being desperate. That means engaging with her confidently, not overcompensating for lost interest. You show her that your life is full, and she can choose to be a part of it, not the other way around. That shift in dynamic makes her reconsider her feelings. Finally, rebuilding value isn't about trying to win her back with words or actions. It's about being the man she can't ignore because of who you are, not because of what you do for her. When she senses independence, confidence, purpose, and subtle intrigue, she naturally gravitates back toward you. That's how attraction is reestablished. Not by chasing, but by becoming the kind of man who inspires curiosity, desire, and admiration. Which one surprised you most? Drop it in the comments. 5. The moment she starts noticing you again. There is a quiet moment when a woman who lost interest starts noticing you again. It isn't loud or obvious at first, but you can definitely feel it in her energy. She won't admit it right away, and she might not even realize it yet, but something big shifts. This shift happens when she begins sensing independence, confidence, and a magnetic presence in a man she once overlooked. I've seen this happen myself more than once. There was a guy I had completely stopped caring about. I wasn't interested anymore. But then he stopped texting obsessively, stopped apologizing for every little thing, and stopped trying to win me over with constant attention. Instead, he just focused on his work, his friends, and his own life. The next time I saw him, he was calm, self-assured, and engaged without any neediness. Suddenly, my curiosity was piqued. I noticed the subtle changes in his demeanor and felt a pull I hadn't felt before. That's the moment attraction began to return. Now, if you're enjoying this, hit subscribe and tap the bell so you don't miss the next one. But here's the crazy part. Women notice energy shifts way before they notice changes in behavior. When a man stops chasing, he communicates value, self-respect, and confidence. This triggers the part of the brain that handles attraction. She starts thinking, wait, something about him has changed. Why do I suddenly want to be around him? That's how interest is quietly reawakened. It's all about emotional contrast. She remembers the old version of you, the one who chased, overinvested, or seemed dependent. Now she sees a man who is composed, independent, and confident. That contrast creates tension, intrigue, and curiosity. She can't ignore the difference, and her mind naturally starts catching up with her feelings. But the key is not to rush it or overdo it. Don't send a barrage of messages to prove you've changed, and don't try to explain why she should want you again. Just maintain your presence, your confidence, and your calm energy. Let her notice organically. When she starts leaning in, you don't have to force it. You just allow the attraction to grow naturally by being the man she can't take for granted anymore. That's the beauty of reattraction. It's subtle, emotional, and powerful. It isn't forced by words, gestures, or gifts. It's created by your energy, presence, and independence. Once she feels that pull, she will start coming back on her own, curious and drawn to the man she once overlooked. Now this is where it gets interesting. 6. Avoid these fatal mistakes that kill attraction for good. If you want to reattract her, you must understand that some behaviors kill attraction instantly, no matter what else you do. Most men unknowingly sabotage themselves after she's lost interest, thinking effort alone will fix things. But here is the truth. It won't. The first fatal mistake is over-communicating. Constant texts, calls, or messages signal neediness and insecurity. When a woman senses that your happiness depends on her attention, her brain automatically lowers its interest. She doesn't want to feel responsible for your emotions. Your value comes from how you carry yourself when you're not chasing her. That calm, independent energy is what sparks curiosity and attraction. The second mistake is apologizing for everything. Apologizing when you've actually done something wrong is fine, but men often apologize for trivial things, like taking too long to respond, for not being romantic enough, or for mistakes in her eyes. This creates a vibe where she's holding all the cards and you look emotionally clinging. That kills attraction faster than any fight ever could. But here's the crazy part. The third big mistake is over-explaining yourself. You think you can talk her back into liking you, but trying to convince her is just exhausting, and honestly, it's not attractive. Women aren't won over by logic or words. They react to your presence, your energy, and that feeling that you're a confident guy who stands on his own feet. If you keep explaining, you're just reminding her of why she felt you were needy, making it harder for her to feel that spark. By the way, if you're enjoying this, smash that like button right now. It really helps the channel. Another massive mistake is ignoring your own life. Some guys drop everything for her, they quit their hobbies, stop seeing friends, and let their goals slide. That is the total opposite of how you get her back. Now this is where it gets interesting. A woman is drawn to a man with purpose, direction, and independence. When she sees you thriving without her, her mind starts to catch up with her feelings, and her curiosity grows naturally. 7. If you want her back, you must change more than just your behavior. Here's the reality most guys miss. Reattracting her isn't about what you do, it's about who you are. Many think sending nicer texts, planning dates, or being more attentive will fix it. It won't. Attraction doesn't work like that. Women sense your energy, confidence, and self-respect, not just superficial effort. Make sure to hit subscribe and tap that bell so you don't miss the next part. Let's be real. If she lost interest, it was likely because your energy felt dependent or insecure. Maybe you were always available or too eager to please. You can't just pretend to be a better version of yourself for a few days. Women spot a fake immediately. If the change isn't real, she'll sense it, and it will push her further away. Real change starts with your mindset. You have to value yourself and realize your own worth, detaching your happiness from her attention. This doesn't make you cold, it makes you magnetic. She'll notice the difference between a man who needs her and one who is independent but still present and engaged. Here's another truth. You must become the man she would regret losing. That means living a full life with passions and goals that don't revolve around her. You need to show her without trying to convince her that your happiness is complete on its own. When she senses that, attraction builds back naturally. She'll notice the little things, your posture, your energy in groups, and how others respond to you. But here's the tough part. This takes patience. A woman's emotions don't flip instantly. They need space to see the changes and process them. Trying to rush it by chasing or pleading will ruin everything. The wake-up call is this. You must become a man who is compelling and confident, not just a man who is trying harder than before. Finally, look honestly at your past. Where were you needy? Where did you give away your power? Face it, fix it, and commit to being the version of yourself that naturally commands respect. That is how a woman's desire rekindles through real transformation, not temporary effort. Which part surprised you most? Drop it in the comments. Here's a bold truth most men need. Women don't fall back in love with a man who tries too hard. Instead, they fall for a man who is secure, self-reliant, and truly magnetic. He is someone who doesn't need her validation to feel whole. If you want her to look at you again, your vibe and mindset are way more important than fancy words or grand gestures. Re-attraction isn't about chasing her or explaining yourself away. It's about becoming the kind of man she would actually be afraid to lose. You have to show her that you have your own path, your own worth, and total emotional control. But here's the crazy part. When you stop obsessing and start focusing on your own goals, she'll notice. Her curiosity starts to peak, and that old attraction returns naturally. This isn't about playing games or using cheap tricks. It's about understanding female psychology. Women are drawn to men who spark admiration and desire without ever begging for it. Your mission is to fix your old habits, change your energy, and show up as a man who is impossible to overlook. That is how you get that spark back in a way that feels real and powerful. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried to win someone back? Did it work? Or was it a struggle? Let me know in the comments because I'll be reading and replying. This isn't just some theory. It's about real-life growth. Step into your power.